Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of The Locker Room. I'm here with Adam Elliot. What's going on, brother?
Not much, brother. Back into it.
Mate, back into it. Torture from my end. Every time preseason rolls around, it reaffirms, thank fuck I'm not doing that. Whenever finals footy rolls around, I'm like, fuck, I want to be out there so bad.
I wish I could be there.
Yeah, just fuck, the boys are all together, big win, fuck. But anyway, it's fucking... How's it been anyway, being back?
It's been good. I think they looked after us at the Dogs, so we all got good time off and got a few young fellas in now. So I suppose when you start pre-season and you see them lads, it gets you excited. I start thinking about when I was that age and I was coming through and they've seen like a lot of the boys play in RL. So you sort of, I think that adds to you wanting to make sure you pick up the way you're training too, because you're like, these boys look up to us. Let's make sure they think they're not looking up to duds.
100%.
So it's been good to be in there and meet a few boys and. Mate, it's been hard for us the last couple of years, so we're training hard and hopefully we can get into the start of the season and start playing good footy.
Well, the best thing about, you'd almost, let's say you took last year and you would almost, let's say you won the same amount of games at the start of last year and then lost the same amount of games, you know what I mean? Switched it.
Yeah, flip the season.
You wouldn't want that.
No.
Whereas now you've got something to build from at the end of the season. Yeah. You've got look, okay, boys, this is what we do. Whereas I feel like if you had done that at the start of the season, you wouldn't really remember it. You'd be like look at the Dragons, for example. Heads are off.
You're looking at recruitment. Who do we get?
Yeah.
Who do we need to get rid of?
Absolutely.
Whereas instead of, I think for us, it's like a bit of a positive.
Yeah, we got something to build with.
Yeah, obviously we got better as it went on. So hopefully that means that the boys are more experienced, and that's what we're trying to drill into everyone now. Let's take confidence from that.
Yeah.
But I think that first 10 games is so crucial, because it just sets you up.
You just needed to win one or two more.
That was it. Yeah.
Fuck. And there were some close games there too, for a period. What is interesting about preseason is when I was getting a bit older, is seeing the young boys come in, and not that they're soft, they're not at all soft, but seeing how rattled they get.
Yeah,
it's so good. You're just like, fuck, I remember that. Your head is off because you're this young kid.
You'd nearly rather not know what's coming up, but you hear them talking in the physio room and that before training, we've got the 2K on.
Yeah, wigging out, head noise.
And like you said, they're not soft. It's not like they're softer than us, but I think because I've been there and done it for a few years now, you just your body just becomes used to it. You become a bit more seasoned. And
you get to the mindset of whatever we've got.
Yeah. It's one foot in front of the other and you just get it done.
You just get it done because the head noise never helps anyone.
Never helps. Nah.
Never.
Nah. And I think when you're getting older, you get in the next day, you're not as sore either.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of those boys, they'd be sore. They haven't trained 6-7 hour days before.
Yeah. And the intensity is there's no I'm going to take this lap off.
Nah.
It's we're watching your heart rate.
Heads will turn if that happens. Yeah, you know that's going to happen.
So watching those, even on Instagram, watching some of the young boys, it just makes me fucking feel so good about it myself. Such shit, cunt. In a good way. I don't actually, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Sucked in, but mad. It's mad that you're experiencing that.
You're getting a crack, but I've been there and I don't envy it. Yeah.
Oh, not at all. So for you personally, obviously you had a decent off season, and again, I guess you've been playing a few years now, so you've experienced the lows, the highs. So 2013 was when you were playing for the NYC side?
Yep.
And so the last few years have been tough, but at least for this, you've recruited well. Do you know what I mean? Can you feel we're finally able to take advantage of some of the young guys we got?
Yeah, and I think the last few weeks for us, we've had a few extensions and re-signs, and so our retention's been good, which is sort of what you want to see. It gives you a bit of faith in the club as well, because obviously we haven't been going that red hot, but for them to see the positive signs and know that the boys are young and that we're sort of building towards something and show a bit of faith in the group, I think that's only something that can be positive for us. People like Remus Smith, he's just scratched the surface. He'll be a superstar in 10 years that people are talking about. And, we've re-signed someone like Hopper, I think. So that's going to be...
He is the most... He's rated. Anyone that knows footy, he's rated.
But he's underrated.
He is unbelievable, bro. Every game... Nearly 200 metres.
Yeah, and would do more if there was more that he could do.
Yep, it's crazy. I was surprised they weren't talking about him with Origin when they had the centre spot that was up for grabs.
Yeah, so was I. I think that was just based on the back of how our season was tracking.
Yeah,
which sucks. If you're performing well and you're in a team that's going well, you're in the conversation. I think the fact that our team was underperforming, they didn't even really look at Will.
Man, he even at fullback, he was 200 metres a game every game. You'd never hear about it. The only way you'd hear about it is if you watched, looked at the stats and that.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking gun, man. I rate him highly, and obviously a fucking great bloke as well. So, what about for yourself? This coming into this year, what do you reckon's new for you this year? Is it more because like last year there was this? I don't know if internally if it was the case, but there was this external thing of like it's going to be a tough year for doggies. Like it's going to be a tough year. That's what we thought externally. Whereas like this year, is it more like nah, we got something here to build with?
I think it was a massive shock for us because like we had that getting said on the outside and we knew like it was getting reported everywhere. But like amongst us, like me, Jacko, Tolls, Kieran Foran, Naps come on board, Hopper, like that core group of blokes, we were talking a fair bit and like the boys were so fit and training the house down and well, it was a really good feel for us. But I think it just goes to show that pre-season doesn't really mean anything in the scheme of things if you compare it to an experienced team and like that's just what we lacked last year. So it was a bit of a shock for me coming from such a good pre-season to start the season the way that we did. I think now I'm a bit more prepared for like anything can happen. Like obviously you want to have high expectations, but I know that it's not just going to be like, oh, we're going to come out and surprise everyone. Every game's going to be really hard for us to play, but I think we're going to give ourselves a bit more of a chance to win those close games, which is a difference between us making the 8 and not.
Yep. And I guess also like if you have these expectations of like, we're going to surprise everyone and then you lose one or two, it rattles you.
There's doubt.
You're like, what? Whereas now you're like, look, we've lost one or two. We've been here before.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Get our heads back on.
Yeah, I think like you can't substitute experience in teams.
Fucking oath.
Say it all the time, but you look at the grand final, for example, like the Roosters have been there, done that so many times. Whether that was the reason that they won the comp or not, I definitely would have helped.
Bro, I was saying to my missus the whole game, I said, I promise you, they've got too many superstars. Yeah. Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen. It doesn't, like, you can
Big
shut
game
down
players.
Teddy.
Yeah.
Latrell do something. Like, I was saying it the whole game, and, like, she's from Canberra. Doesn't watch footy that much, so I was pretty much talking to myself.
Yeah.
But, like, I was just saying to her, like, I promise you, like, it looks like Raiders are on top, but I promise you. And then, boom, what do you know? Fucking Latrell grand final flick pass, 21 years old.
I know,
Gee,
mate. Unbelievable.
Like, people don't understand the confidence to throw that fucking flick pass.
Well, someone goes down to the park and they're playing backyard footy and they pull one off.
Yeah.
And they watch that and they think it's not that flash.
Yeah.
But, mate, there's nerves. It's unbelievable.
If he throws that out over the sideline and Raiders go and score, he is the fucking enemy.
Worst person in Eastern Suburbs.
In history. Yeah. In the history of Roosters, he would be... he already is crucified. He's never done anything wrong.
Yeah.
And yet he's got the guts to go...
at the right time and just nail it. Yeah.
And that's big game players, man. Like
massive.
Big game players.
Yeah.
And that's what he is, a big game player. Okay, so take us back to young Adam. Whereabouts were you born? And
I was born in Bega Hospital, grew up in Tathra my whole life, so down on the far south coast. It's a tiny, tiny little town.
Yep. How many people?
1,500.
Oh, fuck, so real tiny. Is it country on the coast?
So it's on the coast, but like rural, so country. So Bega's right next to it. Bega's where all the dairy farms are, Bega cheese.
Yep.
All that. So Kezzy Apps is a Bega girl. Dale Finucane's born in Bega. He's from Bega.
Yep.
Ewan Aiken's from a little town just down the road.
Yep.
Morgan Boyle as well. He's from Cobargo, so that's sort of the farmy country area. And then Tathra is just a little tucked in town on the coast. So grew up down there and just played every sport under the sun pretty much and surfed and.
So you're frothing, little kook, little grom?
Little kook, yeah. And then, I actually moved up to St. Greg's when I was 16 and went to boarding school. So that was all part of me signing with the Bulldogs. And from a really young age, I was signed with the Bulldogs when I was 14 years old. So that was crazy. And it was funny because Dale's 3 years older than me and he'd just signed with them. I think we were like a week apart or even maybe 2 days apart. And he was signing to come up and play SG ball. And we're really good family friends.
Yep.
And then I signed. And
did he strap his head then as well?
He's strapped it. I think his first game at under sixes was strapped, and it's been strapped ever since.
He came out of his mum's womb.
Yeah, with strapping tape on. Chaos.
He's good. So fucking good. Anyway, so you signed at 14?
Yeah,
old?
Yeah. So it was through like all that school footy, the CHS sort of stuff that you play, and for me, it was really different because no one from our area signed at that age, and I didn't know if I'd have to move straight away or what the go was going to be. But the recruitment officer, Peter Mulholland, was at the Dogs at that time.
Is he at Melbourne now?
No, he was with Canberra. His latest team, he's actually fallen really ill at the moment. He's he's not working. But for me, like I messaged him the other day and said I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for you, just because. it was so like even just my family dynamic, like with my older brother having autism and stuff. I've always been so protective of him, and it was so hard for me to leave. But Pete just made that transition so early. So I was signed with the Bulldogs from when I was 14.
Wow.
I didn't play a game until that was 2008, and I didn't play a game for him until 2013.
Oh wow!
But for me to have the confidence that like, okay, the dream's still alive, the dream's still there, and they weren't pushing me or dragging me to get up here.
Far out.
It was for me. It was such a smooth transition.
Yeah, far out. So did you make the New South Wales sides or anything like
that?
Yeah,
so I played Jack Bird was in my team, Mitchell Moses, Luke Brooks, all those sort of boys in our age group, and then it's funny, like we played under 12s. Like the PWSA New South Wales teams together, and then a lot of us played 15, and then all of us played 18s and Australian schoolboys together. So
oh wow, so you really
it was like all
together.
Those age groups. Yeah, Gutho was in our schoolboys side. Gutherino. And yeah, so there's always been like that sort of main group of us that have gone through the different age groups together, which is pretty cool. So we're all good mates, and
it's pretty rare because like usually like.
You see them thin out a bit as it goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thin out as you go on.
Yeah, I sort of did a little bit, and then it picked up again at the 18s, like the schoolboys.
Okay,
Everyone sort of come back together. Like Paulie was in that team.
Yep.
Kalepi Tanganoa. I think if you went through that schoolboys side, there was like 11 or 12 that played in the under 12s team together.
Oh, under 12s?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that's crazy.
And then played that, and then most 16 out of 17 played NRL or something like that.
Wow, that's fucking crazy, man, because that's just not...
That's crazy, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't until like my parents are, I think most parents are really proud and hold all the photos and they've got them there. And I think my old man wanted to look through the books or whatever and said, like, and when we made the Australian schoolboys team, and he couldn't believe how similar it was.
Yeah, fucking hell, that's crazy. Especially like footy is such a physical game. Yeah, guys that might grow early, so they'll make the under 12 side, and then as they get to 18s, they because they're not big anymore or whatever it is.
Yeah. Or they've found girls and alcohol.
Yeah. I mean, we all found it.
That's
how far we dove into it.
Exactly.
The key. Okay, so you signed with the Doggies. Did you have any interest from any other clubs, or was that just a club?
So Canberra's 3 hours from Tathra.
Yep.
So and the Dragons is the next closest team. So it was the 3 of them when I was younger. But I was just a diehard Bulldog supporter from when I was young.
Really? And Dogs of War, is that why?
It was, mate. It seriously was, and it was like Andrew Ryan, my idol, Sonny Bill.
Yep.
And like growing up and seeing them win the 04 grand final.
Yeah.
I had Bulldogs bed covers.
Really?
My room,
Froth
one
them.
wall was blue, one was white. Like I was a nutter.
Really?
Proper nutter, yeah. So when it came out, when he mentioned that they wanted to sign me, like Dad's looked at me and he's just like, you're not going anywhere, are you? And
100%. So SBW.
Yeah.
Andrew Ryan was a gun, man.
I don't know if you watched the Legends of the League the other day.
No,
they had
I didn't watch it. I knew it was on, but I didn't watch it.
Up in Newcastle. And I only saw the final, but every time he got the ball, he just found space and like.
He did that the same.
He
when
always
he
did it, yeah.
And it's not like he was fast.
Nah,
or
but
stronger.
he's just a plugger. Like he's always there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think underestimated as well how good of a player he was.
Bloody oath. So do you remember watching the 2004 grand final?
Yeah, I remember. So I was one of Bulldogs supporters in Tathra, I reckon.
Really?
For like so many years of my childhood. Yep. And there's a heap of Roosters players down there, and Bega's the Bega Roosters as well. So a lot of the boys sort of supported teams that had the same logo. And like just the whole Brad Fittler and Anthony Minicello, they were freaks too coming through. So everyone loved the Roosters. And I remember the Bulldogs winning and all my mates crying because the Roosters had lost. And I thought I was the king. I reckon I kept the Dogs jersey on for a week. Yeah,
that's fucking mad.
All time.
Okay, so when did you actually move up to the Doggies? So
I was 16 and went to St Greg's for year 11 and 12 as a boarder, and then straight out of high school I moved into Belmore to the Doghouse. So
what was it like boarding school for you?
Heaps different. I remember like my best mates now are blokes that I went to school with, and like I've had to stop and say to them before, like usually after a few beers as well.
Yeah.
I love you, brother. But like, just like far out, I definitely wouldn't have got here if it wasn't for them because it was just so different.
Yeah,
Tathra's like a surfy little tiny beach town,
different culture.
Campbelltown.
Yeah,
and then I spent my weekends on a train, which I'd never been on, to come to the city and walk around Sydney City, and it was just like the first week for me was just crazy, hectic, and just I remember being on the phone bawling my eyes out to my mum. I was so embarrassed to talk about it, but and she's just like, give it a month. And then those two lads that I'm best mates with now, they're the ones that sort of help me get through. And then come holidays for the end of term, I was like, oh, can I come out to your house, bro, out the farm? Like, I don't want to go back to Tathra. I want to hang out with you boys.
Oh,
so
really? Yeah, okay.
For me, it was like, hard at the start. And then really just loved it. Yeah.
It's crazy how, like, you know, how many young kids said, "Oh, I'm going to go home," and then that whole dream is just gone, and then they're sitting there when they're 40 going, "What if?" What
Mate,
could
I
be?
know. And
yeah.
Mum was saying that to me, but when
Yeah,
I get those kids too that do that.
Yeah.
Because I was at the point where I was like, she's like, "This is all what you've always wanted."
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't care. I need to come home.
Yeah, I know. I want
Like,
to come
this
home.
is crazy.
I just
yeah.
want to be comfortable.
I miss my older bro. Like,
Yeah.
And but like you said, just so much talent goes down the drain when that happens.
Bro. It's so much tougher than you ever give it credit for. Like, once you go, like, you can hear and talk about it, but once you're actually in the environment where you don't know anyone,
You don't think about anything else
Yeah.
except for how bad it is.
yeah, exactly. Not how lucky you are, or
Yeah.
what opportunity you have, and it all seems so far away.
Exactly. It's
You're
like,
just like, fuck, it's probably. Won't
I'm
happen
step
anyway.
1 of 50 at the moment. Yeah.
So when did you? So you went straight out of school into the Bulldogs house.
Yep.
And was that into 20s or was that into first grade
Straight
squad?
into 20s.
Yep.
And then a year with them, and then started like sort of like the transition, then pre-season with the NRL the next year, and Cup the next year when I was 20s, and then full-time straight after that.
All right. It's crazy how when you look back, you're like, man, I was so young, but it was
I
everything
was like
going
from
so
school about to leave home, and then 3 years later training with James
First
Graham.
grade.
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
Unbelievable.
So did you feel like in the first or second year of under 20s where you were like, oh shit, like I'm of a standard here that is good enough to eventually play first grade?
I think the first year, because we had a really good side as well.
Yep.
And like people like Moses Embai was our halfback, and I was playing outside of him a lot of the time, playing second row, and I was like, I could see me and him playing first grade together.
Yep.
And my coach, Andy Patmore, he's not there at the Dogs anymore, but he was awesome with me, and he'd come up to me and he'd say those sort of things like, yeah, first grade, they want you to come and train with them this week. And for me, like, I was doing them a favour, but it felt like they were doing me a favour, and it was every time I trained with them, I was a bit more confident. Like, I'd see blokes like Dale and Jacko, and I'm like, okay, they're country boys, they've done it, I can get there. Like, I'm a similar build to them.
Yep.
Like, yeah, maybe it could happen. And then probably that second year where I did the pre-season with them, I was like, yeah, I can mix it with the big boys. Yeah.
Do you remember your first training, like, in your first pre-season training session with the boys where you walked in, or when you realised, like, fuck, this is fucking first grade?
Yeah, I think so. I'd always been like, because I was pretty skinny for a forward as well, always been one of the fitter lads. And the first thing for me where I was like, oh, his first grade was Michael Ennis running Malcolm's.
Oh, really?
And I was like,
He's just going
is
all
he
day.
like rubber band? Like, he was just bouncing off the ground and like beating everyone by 50 metres.
Yep.
And I was like, I remember walking over to the drill going, oh, I'll surprise a few of these boys here.
Yeah,
Like,
this is
they
my
won't be
thing.
ready for me. Like, I'm good at these.
Yep.
And like coming middle to the back of the pack.
Oh, really?
Whereas I'd been winning everything, and I was like, okay, this is what it's about.
Yep.
Like, these guys are freaks.
And it's not just like one set. It's
And then that's
every
every set, yeah.
Yeah, fucking oath, bro. It's the standard is so high, like that you
The consistent standard, yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's not just guy, under 20.
You could run a 2K, or a kid in the under 20s might run a 2K and they might kill it, but then they're rat's ass for the rest of the session.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely.
Whereas a first grader does everything like that.
Yeah, and it's for a whole preseason. It's
Exactly.
not like 1 week he kills it and then he rocks up the next week.
And then you start the season.
Yeah, oh no.
And it's,
fucking
like,
torture.
yeah, so that's sort of what I realised.
Mickey Ennis, was he someone that when you first got in, you were like, wow, that's a fucking standard right there?
Yeah, I actually did a little bit with him because he was the captain and I was the captain of the 20s. So they'd always take us to like sponsor promos and stuff. And it was unreal for me to be able to sit there and talk to him. Like, he knew my name, shook my hand all the time. And that was awesome. And just to see the way that he spoke to the boys. And even after he'd left, like, the boys would still talk about his pre-game speeches or like captain's run speeches and that. Like, they'd get goosebumps about how good he was and how good of a leader he was.
Yep. He's his reputation throughout rugby league players is like second to none.
Yeah.
Like there's so many different players from different clubs that are like, the experience I had with McInnes was fucking impressive.
Yeah, I learned, I got better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's Canberra boys, there's Para boys, there's Broncos boys. It's fucking crazy how much influence some can, like, don't get me wrong, he was a fantastic nine, like fantastic. But the impact he had off the field, maybe just as much, if not more.
Yeah, that's sort of where you
longevity.
get like an unbelievable captain and a good, like a great nine makes like who he was. But if he was just the hooker and not the captain, probably wouldn't have had the same impact.
Yeah, it's so true.
But like he had
So
that
true.
balance to be able to be good at both.
So you do that first full preseason. So you were in your second year of 20s when you did the first full preseason?
Yeah.
And so basically, what you made your debut You made 2000.
And then there was another year.
Yeah, in the New South Wales
full
Cup.
time with Cup again.
Yep.
So I had 2 years with Cup, and then the third year was when I played NRL round 1.
Okay, so and you played for the Residents against Queensland Residents.
Yep.
And you got named second row New South Wales Cup Team of the Year.
Yep. That was
and then re-signed another 2-year deal. And so like that, I guess from outside looking in, it's like, well, surely you've got to make your debut soon.
Yeah,
you know
it was hard. It was hard because even play Australian schoolboys, captain of the Australian schoolboys, you think like, this is just going to happen. Like whenever a young kid gets a crack, they're just going to pick me.
Yeah.
Like without having that attitude, but looking back, I probably had it a bit.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I would have, but looking back, maybe I was a little bit lackadaisy with it, thinking like, oh, my time will come, or I was a bit too relaxed. And then Sean Lane had a breakout. So there's a few like injuries around the same time. Like I subluxed my shoulder, and then Laney was starting to play really good footy, and then Tony Williams tore his pec, and then Laney deserved his crack.
He was playing good footy.
But it would have been between me and him.
Yep.
And Laney got his crack in NRL, and he killed it the first few games he played for the Dogs.
Yep.
One of them was against the Storm at Belmore. He set up a couple of tries, and it was just like, I remember watching that game going, I'm so happy, because I'd gone through with Laney and played 20s and that with him as well. We were boys.
Yep.
I was like, I'm so happy for my mate, but holy shit, someone else is going to have to get injured now for me to get a crack. Cause
absolutely.
He's making his spot solid, and like, that's just, for me, it was sort of a turning point as well. It's like, right, I am going to have to work hard to do this. But seeing him that was side by side with me go up and kill it gave me a bit of hope as well.
Yeah, because you could go, like, if he can go all right, then obviously I might.
No reason why I can't go do it. Yeah.
It's that's the thing with like first grade, that, and as you said, it's not like you're lackadaisy in your, not really at all, but you're kind of
prep and stuff.
Yeah, it's more just like you don't actually fully appreciate the fact that there are so many fucking gun players. Just takes one injury, and boom, they're in. You know what I mean?
Spot on. Yeah, that's like, that was when it was a sort of turning point that I realised that. Yeah,
and you just never know. Like let's say you get injured for a few weeks, he gets the spot, and he kills it. You could be a year away from going, all right, I got to go to another club, you start all over again.
Exactly, same thing could happen again.
Then all of a sudden you're sitting there going, fuck. Whereas like, I think before, when you're inexperienced and naive, you just think, I've ticked all the boxes here. Yeah, I deserve a shot. You know.
Yeah, that's exactly the feeling that I sort of had.
Yeah. And again, it's not like you're playing any worse or whatever, but it's like footy every single week is different. Yeah, one injury.
Who takes that opportunity? Yeah. How they take it, when they take it.
Fucking oath. And also, like, your people often forget, like, we're talking about 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds here, like.
You're learning to be a bloke.
Yeah,
like
you're learning to be. You don't even know the fuck you are.
Learning to be in society. Like, you're not at school anymore, getting told to be here and be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And
like, I was late to every single class at school. Like, I was just so chilled. And then there's Hasler's the head coach, so it's like, if you're 15 minutes early, you're half an hour late.
Yeah,
like,
bro, that's something that I learnt with footy as well. Even if you're 30 minutes early, if you're the last one there, you're frowned upon.
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas all the old boys, it's like a competition. They're an hour early. You're like, mate, come on, bro.
I know, and they love it.
Yeah, they
had 6 coffees before the first video session.
They're sitting there with their fucking newspaper like this. 2 hours before the fucking session starts. You're, mate, you're taking the piss, cunt. You don't need to be here this early.
That's me now. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, what are they doing? But now I'm like, yeah.
You're like, mate, you could be at home reading that and still make it with 30 to go.
Exactly.
Mate, it's so funny. You watch, you when you're a younger boy, you're thinking like, oh, come on, bro, come on. Then as you get older, you realise why they do it. Like,
exactly.
And you start doing it.
The process makes more sense.
Yeah. Okay, so 2016 rolls around. And you make your debut in round 1. So were you feeling that coming across, in the preseason?
Yeah. I think like I said with Laney, so that off season I was like, nah. And I was still at uni too, so a few boys were going on boys trips and that, but I was doing uni exams, and I was like, well, if I'm going to be stuck here, I'm just going to rip in. So I rocked up day 1, and I was like, the fittest and strongest I'd been. And I think Desi was sort of looked, and he went, oh, he's taking it serious this off season. Yeah. And then compared to the other years, I couldn't believe how often he was talking to me. Like every day, every session, he'd drag me into his office, Des, and show me something. So I could feel like, I was like, this is moving in the right way. I don't want to do anything to wreck this.
Yeah.
And then, come round one, I wasn't confident that he was going to pick me, but I knew that I was a big chance of being
in the combo
17.
kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Whereas like the other years, you're not even in the combo. It's like you get that first trial maybe, and unless you fucking light the world on fire,
Spot on.
you're not going to get it cracked.
Yeah, and Laney was still there as well. Like he still had another year in his contract. So for all I thought, like there was no reason that Desi couldn't just go, yep, number 17 Lane. But yeah, he gave me that crack. And like, mate, that's another story in its own. Like I got food poisoning on my first game.
No way.
Yeah.
So what before the game?
Before the game, I remember sitting on the bus and like, I've never really gotten nervous.
Yeah.
Like I get nervous, but I've never been someone like spews because they're that nervous or whatever. Like
more just like that kind of energy.
I played cricket, and when I used to go out and play cricket with bat, like so I know what that feeling is because I used to get it to go out and bat in cricket. I'd be like about to vomit.
Oh really?
Sweating, like shitting myself. But I've never had it in footy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
So
footy's like way more
But
violent.
I was thinking maybe like, oh, this is my debut. Maybe that is how I'm feeling.
Yep.
I started feeling really sick on the bus, and I had a ham and cheese toasty, and I don't know why. My go-to is peanut butter toast.
Yeah.
Plain, simple.
You try to change it up.
Goes. I saw someone walk past, and I think I said like, oh, do you guys have peanut butter? And one of the boys laughed, and I was like, oh, I'll just have a ham and cheese. Shit myself.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that was what got me or something earlier in the day because it's such a blur for me. But like in the warm up, throwing up,
you would have been
and the rest
head
of it,
off.
Head off.
Yeah.
Hot change room. Laney's 18th man. So I'm going.
Oh no!
It's gonna happen again.
You don't want
The
to
big
give that
fella's
shot
gonna
up
leapfrog
again.
me. Yeah. First carry. I remember took a carry off first tackle. Darcy Lussick took a carry, and like big boy. I was like, I'm just gonna fly out and try back, put everything I can into it.
Yeah.
And we had like half a head clash, like both of us jolted heads, and then it was sweet. But I've got up and I've thrown up on the ground, and like I swear he looked at me sort of like because I was making funny noises and that too because I was so crook.
Yeah.
And like I know he can throw them too.
Yeah.
I think he looked at me like I should show this kid a bit of a lesson.
Yeah.
Like I might put one on his chinny. And then I think he looked at me and went like, "There's something not right there," and he just kept going. And like,
because you were just like,
going cross-eyed and that. And so
this kid's crazy.
I've got on at half time too. So for my debut, I'm like, I get 40 minutes here. Like I can show everything I got. And I think I lasted maybe like 17 minutes because I just couldn't run. Stomach was cramping. Had the runs, was throwing up. Like proper horrible experience. I remember like they flashed to me in the change rooms, and I had my head in a big wheelie bin, like an auto bin.
Up.
Yeah, straddling the massage table and throwing up in the bin.
Mate, torture debut. That's got to be
horrible. And I'm like, same thing going like, and I reckon it did hurt me a little bit because I don't know whether Desi thought, the nerves did get to me or the occasion got to me a bit. Like, and I can't blame him for thinking that.
Like, what are the chances you get food poisoning?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's never happened again.
Yeah.
So, but I think like my minutes drastically went down for the rest of that season.
Oh, really?
And I just think he didn't know whether to give me a crack or not.
Because he thought you couldn't handle
the pressure.
And I
was like, fuck that one time.
Yeah. Far out.
It was like everything, all the shit. Like, I'd had ACL recos and had all this stuff that sort of put me back. And I'm like, a ham and cheese sandwich? Like,
rocks ya on your debut. So you said you had ACL recos and that. Was there any? Because it took you quite a few years. 4 years to debut, pretty much?
Yeah, pretty much.
Was there ever a time when you're like, fuck, maybe I'm not up to it or anything? Or you're confident?
Nah, not really. Yeah, I think I'm pretty close with my old man, and I'd just call him if something bad was coming up.
Yeah.
And like he's got so much confidence and faith in me that it just like
Push
bleeds into me a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just saying, mate, it's all right. Like, you wouldn't have made it this far if you weren't going to make it anyway.
Yeah.
That's sort of a saying I've always carried on. Like, there's a plan there. Like, you wouldn't have had the chance. You wouldn't have got through.
It's true though.
What you've got through already if it was just going to bite you in the ass and stop. So
yeah, and also like,
I was lucky enough. I was young too. So
yeah, fuck no. And some like I suffered from the impatience you get as a kid. Like I'd made my debut at 19, and I was thinking, oh, this is late. Like, I need to be fucking debuting when I'm 18.
Yeah, when am I playing for Queensland?
Like, what's going on here? So you get, sometimes that impatience can hurt you.
Yeah, it did. I was 21 and I was like,
wigging out.
I'm a veteran.
Yeah.
That's how I was, like,
I've been
the windows closing on me.
Yeah, it's crazy, eh? You think that, and yet you've got fucking so long. Like, Cody Walker didn't debut till he was 26. Look at him now.
Yeah, it's freakish.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he's one of the biggest names in the NRL, like, as a half.
Yeah.
And he didn't debut till he was 26.
And it's just like that saying comes like fourth even more when you think about him, eh? It's like you
Yeah.
wouldn't have got as far as you were if it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
26 and it happens for you, and then look what follows it.
Yeah, oh, fucking oath, bro.
Final series, kills
Origin.
it, Origin.
Fuck, it's crazy. Okay, so yeah, you make your debut, torture debut, and then so 2016. How many games did you play there?
I don't know, I ended up getting dropped halfway through the season.
Okay, yep.
We signed Ray Mariner from the
For
Warriors at the
Sean
time.
Lane?
Yeah,
Sean Lane.
for Laney, they did a
Yep.
straight swap.
Yep.
And Razor come over, and he's a freak. So it was a hard bullet to swallow, but he's like one of the best blokes I've ever met and a great footy player. Like, I had respect for him playing footy too. So I just went back to Cup and
Yep.
ripped in and just wanted to be the best player on the field every week in that.
Yep.
To be
So
like,
it didn't sting you, get your head down a bit because you'd been there?
stung me
And
heavy.
then you come back again?
Stung me heavy, but I think like I wasn't playing my best footy either because my confidence was down after the debut and all the shit that went on after it. And then like there's some games I'd get on for the last 6 minutes. So for me, it was like, just put me back, let me play 80 minutes in Cup.
Yeah, let me develop my game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss playing footy where like you can build a game because I was just getting on at the finish and going as crazy as I could.
And it's so true, like, build a game. Like, you know, you're not going to go out in the first minute and fucking score a try.
Nah.
It's that fucking 12th unders line or whatever.
Exactly, yeah,
that
where they
gets you-
finally slide on you.
Yeah.
And you've been setting them up or you run an overs line instead or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was hard, but it was like, it was sort of a good thing as well because then that off season as well, I was like, well, I got my crack and I lost it.
Yeah, needed
I'm going to rip in again.
Yeah.
And then, that sort of carried me. I played round one again, 2017. So it was,
So you made 24 appearances in 2018.
so it would have been 17 and 18, played every game,
Full
both
year.
years.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 2017, you rip in and you earn that spot back.
Yep.
Was that like, I guess, rewarding in the sense that you'd gone full circle? You'd
Yeah,
have to
massively.
fight back for it?
It was. And it was like, instead of getting that spot and like sort of being content with coming off the bench, it was like 3 games in, I'd played really well. I'd started starting.
Yep.
I was like, nah, this is it. I love this. I love
Yep.
playing footy. This is what I want to do.
Yep.
I'm not letting anyone take this spot off me now.
Yep.
And then I think later on in that year, it was the last game of City Country, and like being a country boy, I was stoked, so I got picked for that.
Yep.
And it was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I'm not getting dropped again.
Yep. So you just like, you'd lost it, you fought back for it, and you're like, I know how much I love this now. Like, yeah.
And seeing people, and also like learning off people like Jacko, who just like every single day rocks up, no excuse, like could be anything going on in his life, but 100%
Yep.
puts everything he can to make himself the best he can be to prep. And it was like, fuck, that's what it does take.
Yeah.
So it's time to pick up your nuts, stop having a sook, and do that for 24, 25 rounds. Don't
Yeah.
do it for 6 or 7 and then
Bloody oath.
think you can have a break.
Yep. Rest on your laurels and that, because like, it's there's so many cliches you get told as a rookie,
Yeah.
and you just like, fuck, shut up.
When's the
man.
next one coming?
Yeah,
Like,
rightio, whatever.
roll it in. Like, yeah.
Whereas like now you realise it's just that all those cliches are true. Like,
Yeah,
it's
because they're
true.
simple.
Yeah, fucking oath. And all the older boys do them. Like,
Yeah.
they all do them. So 2017, you get your full year. And you made country that year as well, 2017, because it was the last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was that something pretty as a country? I feel like, I could be wrong, but I feel like it means a lot more to country lads.
Yeah, I think
see
it
that?
does too. I don't know if I'm a bit biased, but I think
Yeah.
it does as well because like, I don't know, there's that many City boys that don't play for City that
Yeah.
still play Origin and that. But I think most of the country boys that did play Origin played country first, and then so I think it's a bit bigger of a thing. And
I think
because you're
also-
coming from smaller towns as
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
your towns get behind you heaps more. Whereas
Yeah.
like, how many footy players have come out of Bankstown, or how many
Yeah.
millions?
Yeah.
You know, so I think coming from small towns, you could be the first person that's ever played country from where you're from.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing. Yeah, it was a massive thing for me and the
So were
family.
you one of the... Oh, Dale would have played...
He played for, but he's a Bega junior, so I was the first for Tathra to ever
Oh,
play.
yeah, okay, yeah, sweet. So you're the
NRL and City
Oh, really?
Country, so
How
it's
good's
something-
that?
Yeah,
that's
real
pretty
stoked
special.
with.
Fucking
Yeah.
oath, man. That's like, I'm sure that means a lot to you representing
does,
such a
yeah.
small town.
Yeah, I love going back there and seeing everyone because they are super proud as well.
Yep.
Like it's definitely not forgotten. Like
Yeah.
I love
yeah.
going back there.
That's something as well with country footy. You know, so many kids, their only really experience with NRL is when the country games would be played in the country.
100%. Yeah.
You know, whereas like city kids, they get, go down a fucking stadium. It's down the road.
Exactly. Yeah. Or they're playing Harold Matt's wearing
Yep, the jerseys.
a Raiders, even like the Canberra boys, they're wearing Raiders kit, or you're wearing your Roosters kit around. Whereas like none of us sort of get that. So you come through and you play 16s country, and then that team plays against the Queensland second side. So you sort of play 16s, 18s, then you get up and you're like, I've already played country. Whereas the boys that are playing city, it's not something that they've played before. And,
yeah, it's true.
Like had that natural progression.
Bloody oath. And so at what point did you, because I know you've done quite a lot of work with, kids with autism and that, and obviously your older brother has autism. There are different types of autism, isn't there? As in the spectrum.
There's a big spectrum. So it's like Asperger's, autism. It's sort of all the same thing, but there's just like, you can be right down this end of it, and you can be right up this end of it.
Yep.
But you can also slide up and down.
Yeah.
It.
And
depending on like the intervention, depending on just each individual case as well. Like some kids get worse as they get older, and like, we were lucky with my brother. He was quite severe when he was young.
Yeah.
And like now he's got a job.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like in social environments, like he gets by well enough to be able to be independent.
Okay.
So he's like gone from one end right to the other. So like, as a family, like we're so lucky. But my mum and dad work so hard for that to happen. And
It's and so is it a common misconception that with autism, because I don't really know that much about it, but like the common misconception I assume would be like they're so smart that they can't even function or whatever.
Yeah, I think there's probably two. Like someone thinks like, oh, your older brother's got autism, straight away they probably picture someone that looks different.
Yeah,
but they don't. Like they look exactly the same.
Yep.
But yeah, their brains, a lot of them are really smart. But I think the misconception is that like they get obsessive with certain things. So like my brother when he was younger was like V8 supercars and F1, like Michael Schumacher. So he could tell you every race, every position that Michael Schumacher in the end, where he was, like whether he had pole position, what he started, where he finished in the trial, where it was, how many times he won the championship all over, like freakish with what they really like,
focusing on,
what they're focused on.
Yeah.
Whereas people think, oh, they're just so smart. It's
more a focus.
It's more of like a focus of what they're interested in.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. And so, at what point did you, like, sometimes when you're a younger rookie, you don't put yourself out there to do like, charities and stuff because you feel like you haven't really earned the right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're a rookie still.
I had that feeling heaps.
Yeah.
And I was like, if Jacko asked me to go with him, I'll have my shoes on, I'll be out the door, I'll be there, but I'm not going to go and put my hand up first because
who am I?
They don't want to see me. Their parents don't know who I am. They're gonna,
exactly.
They're going to say, who's this bloke? Where's James Graham? Like,
yeah.
So I was really nervous at the start to try and do that stuff. And then when I finally started breaking into playing consistent and playing week to week, is when I was like, no. But then I also realised as well, like, if a 20s boy come and grab me to go do something with him, I'd be that stoked that he was putting his hand up. Like,
absolutely.
It's a shit stereotype that young footy players have that like, oh, they don't want to see me anyway, I'm not famous enough. It's like, no way, you go and you put your hand up to go do anything for that, like you're doing something great.
Absolutely.
You're going to make their day better, their lives better.
Absolutely. And it's more about the action, like it's the emblem, it's the Bulldogs emblem.
It is
that
the fact that
something.
It's there. That's what I say to them as well, like when kids do get a little bit nervous, I'm like, well, chuck your Bulldogs polo on and it doesn't matter, you're a Bulldog. They'll look at 100%. You, whether you play 20s, reserve grade or first grade, like you're a Bulldog. So they love the fact that someone from the Bulldogs is coming to see them.
Absolutely. And so what foundations do you work with specifically and everything like that?
So ACN's like the one I work with closest now. It's Autism Community Network. It's community based, it's non-for-profit, and they have like meeting groups, so the parents or the carers of the people with autism will meet and they'll go over all the different things that are going on in their life, improvements, things that aren't going well. They'll help each other out, they help each other with counselling and all that sort of stuff, and they go take the kid, they set up different courses for the kids and dinners for, well, not kids, for the adult, there's young adults as well that they do dinners for now, and so that's a foundation I've been working really closely with, and the people that run it are great. They love the footy schedule and they're just so easy for me to get involved with. And I've been an ambassador for Special Olympics at the Bulldogs for pretty much since that first year I started playing first grade as well.
Okay.
And then, so to see those kids, we run a massive day out at the Belmore Sports Ground and set up like different activities for them to come and play, and like the boys love it. All the boys love it, and I think that happens in the pre-season. It'll probably be happening quite soon. And I think for us that's a bit of a groundbreaker for the boys wanting to get involved a bit more because they see the smiles on the kids' faces and they realise that it's pretty easy to get involved in.
Yeah.
So that's why the boys sort of put their hands up to start doing a fair bit more.
Yep.
And the Bulldogs are really good with it as well. The bloke, his name's Sari Boutros. He's in community engagement. He's just started us with a school down the road. It's Chalmers Road School, and it's for intellectual disability. So a lot of the kids there have autism as well.
Yep.
We're actually going to the Year 12 formal for them on the 10th of December. Going to take a big bunch of boys along. So I asked the lads today, and there's like 12 boys already said, I'll come. So like that's so sick. They'll love it.
You know what? And again, it doesn't mean one's worse than the other or whatever, but like when I speak to people that may have a negative perception of footy players, and don't get me wrong, we do fucking stupid stuff.
Yeah,
no one's going to say that we don't. Yeah, we do stupid stuff. But like, tell me how many, let's say you work as a Sparky. If you went into work and say, oh, boys, just going to go down to a Year 12 form with, kids with autism or whatever special needs, how many people would turn up?
Yeah, it's a hard one, eh?
It's a big fat zero.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it's wrong for them to do that because they've got their own lives and their own worries.
Yeah.
But how many NRL players go, yeah, bro, I'll come along?
Water off the duck's back. They don't even think about it.
Yeah. And it's just like you don't really, that perception, like these are men at work. This is their job, footy. They don't have an obligation to do that. They don't have an obligation to go and help anyone. This is their job. They get paid to play footy.
Yeah.
And yet you've got 12 blokes already like, yeah, sweet, bro. 100%.
Yeah, within a few hours. Yeah.
So I just think that that's something that we don't really weigh up the parallel of like, okay, let's say there's 12 blokes that work as carpenters and they're
at a job site.
They're at a job site, 18 to 30 years old, and they say, this Friday night, we need you to come to this formal. Mate, I know I would be like, mate, you're kidding yourself.
Yeah, sorry, I got a date with my schooner at the pub.
Exactly. I've been working all week. Yeah. I want to fucking relax.
Yeah.
And yet that's what footy players do. They do that.
So I just think there is a bit of a cliche, like it's only bad news sells newspapers, but it's so true. Like you don't hear about the little things that go on.
No way. And I definitely think it's changing. I think people have been clued onto the fact
social media is helping it change a lot.
Fucking oath. Okay, so 2018, 24 appearances, 4 tries. Was that your first meaty that year?
17. I scored against the Roosters. I actually got a double in 2017.
Oh, fuck off.
And then they picked the country team a week after. And I didn't play good footy for the rest of the year. So I fluked it. Yeah.
So do you remember your first try? Obviously,
best ever. One of my idols, James Graham.
Yep.
Hit me on a short ball against the Roosters.
Yep.
And we'd sort of gone to and fro. We were playing good footy against them early in, I think it might have been a round 2 game. And scored straight under the sticks. So I was I don't know, I probably only scored 2 tries the year before, even like in cup and that.
Oh,
so
really?
Round 2 for me to score in NRL. I was like,
off the nudie.
Chucked it like the footy. There's that many photos. I'm going crazy and grab Josh Reynolds, one of my good mates. Yeah, Jacko's straight in there, and it's like it's one of my favourite photos.
Yeah, fucking that first try, bro. You never
forget it. No way.
Just like the feeling of going over the line. It's like this release of.
It's like, is this happening?
Yeah, absolutely. When I scored my first try, I actually was thinking, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
Fucking hell,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, so it's 4 tries 2018, so fucking hell, look out. 4 tries in a year.
Started getting a bit too cocky, I think. Yeah. I thought they come around all the time. So.
Okay, so like 2018 is a year for you personally. What was that like for you? Obviously, the end of it and that, but what was it?
I think it was just like 2017, you got your spot. 2018, like time to step up, be a leader. Like you were a leader when you were younger.
Yep.
Like grow up now, you're not a kid.
Yep.
Start doing it here and start trying to prove to myself that I could do it a bit as well.
Yep.
And that's like just talking a bit more in team meetings and grabbing a young fella and putting him under the wing and trying to do a little bit of that. And I think like for me it was good in that way. Like I learned a bit more about how to be a leader, but I still think I took my focus off my own prep a few times trying to do that a bit too much.
Okay, yeah.
And like my footy was a bit inconsistent in that season.
Yep.
And it was one of my goals, like this needs to be a consistent year for me.
Mm.
And so that's when I really started to get like an appreciation and respect for good captains.
Yeah, because I got 2 things to worry about: the team and themselves.
Massive job, such a big job, and like I was trying to do it in the most minuscule way, sort of to help make myself better, but to like help other blokes too. And it was affecting me because like I wasn't cemented yet either.
Yep.
And it was too hard for me. I didn't play consistent enough footy, and then it sort of it hit me like fuck right. Maybe just step back and worry about your own job.
Yep, because that's the best way you can.
Yeah, I'm going to help the team doing that.
it's funny you say that because like when I was at the Warriors, I was doing goal kicking and it was just like had all these different kicking coaches like telling me change this. Like the coach was saying one thing, the kicking coach was saying another thing, assistant coach was saying another thing, and then the players were saying. And it got to a point where I went to the coach. I was like, mate, I don't want to kick anymore. Like, when I miss
give it to someone else. Give the mantle to someone else.
Yeah, when I miss it, rattles me, and my games, I lose my confidence. He literally refused to let me stop kicking. But anyway, that's another story.
No, exactly. It's the same sort of situation, though. Yeah, when you're thinking about too many things at once, you're not doing like your bread and butter stuff.
Exactly,
as good as you should be.
Especially like. If you haven't done it, like, if you're still relatively young, I think I was like 21, like, you know what I mean?
A lot of pressure.
Like, and I'm kicking for like the Warriors and that, and I went to him and I was like, oh, look, I don't want to kick anymore, can I please not kick? And he got angry at me and made me keep kicking. And then I got dropped a couple of weeks later, so that was mad.
Yeah.
Thanks, coach. Thanks heaps. And so...
for it to blow up how it was, like, it's hard for me to say that it wasn't a bad thing because... Like my family had to go through. They had to see it.
Yeah.
There's people that would have looked up to me that don't anymore. Probably, hopefully, I'm building that back up. But even like I was already starting to do stuff with charities that year. Lost one of them. I won't say it because they're a great charity, but they didn't want me the next year. Yeah. That was hard.
And so you can kind of like you can understand where they're coming from.
Completely. Just said thanks for having me anyway. It's been a great experience.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, what else can you say?
It's the irony of like. This guy that's doing charity and this charity doesn't want to work with you. That should kind of explain, like, is this as big a deal as we think? Like, a charity doesn't want to work with you. Like, you're doing charity work. Like, shouldn't we be focused on the charity work, not the one time you got nude in a Mad Monday thing?
I think that's what you and a few other people tried to do. Change the focus a bit, but it was just such a big thing that
it just
couldn't be taken away. Yeah.
So like, the situation aside, in the sense that, like, yep, stupid, wrong, was as bad as we think? Probably not. But the mental fallout for you personally, how was, like, you wake up the next day and you're like, fuck, like, because you're a human, you're just a young bloke from a country town.
Yeah.
Then you're on the front of every fucking paper in the world, on the news, everything like that. What was that like for you?
It was hard because like that year I had a pretty good season. I just started getting recognised down the road and like I bought a house in a suburb where all my neighbours started to know. It was the first time in Sydney that I'd really like had a home and felt like I was at home. And then I was walking down the road and people recognised me. So I went and cut my hair because I had the afro. So I cut my hair straight away the next day. And I was sort of lucky in a way. I had to go in for surgery. So I went in and had my wrist done. And then that forced me to not look at my phone, not read the news, not do anything.
Yeah.
And then I come out of there and like I counted it because I had too much time on my hands. But it was like 2,000, like nearly 2,500 messages between Facebook and Instagram. And there was one person that called me a dickhead. Everyone else was like, hey, I hope you're all right.
Really?
This is a joke. This has been blown up. Yeah. So for me, it was like, that was like, holy shit. Like, I was ready to get hammered. I was ready for 500 to be good and 2,000 to be...
You're a wanker.
Yeah.
Rah.
So there was one bad message.
I mean, I get called a dickhead. I haven't even done anything.
Yeah.
My missus calls me dickhead.
Yeah, I get called a dickhead more now.
It's crazy to think, like, the media is supposed to basically not represent the people, but be what the people kind of are about. And yet, what the people are about, most people are like, mate, like, every Christmas party someone gets nude. Like, if they don't, it's not a Christmas party kind of thing. And yet you see those... So did that help you a bit, seeing the feedback of like... Okay,
massively, it did. Yeah, it did huge because it sort of reaffirmed like what my parents and that had said.
Yeah.
But they're my parents, they're going to say anything to try and make me feel better. But then there's random people are saying it and I'm like, oh...
Yeah.
If random people are saying it that like they know I'm never going to get back to them, but they've taken the time to message me, like, maybe it's not as bad as it seems. It's probably the best thing. Bo Ryan actually messaged me. It's a saying that stuck to me, and it's a saying that I actually passed on to Dylan.
Yeah.
And like, sort of anyone that's going through something tough is like, nothing's ever as good as it seems, and nothing's ever as bad as it seems.
So fucking
true.
It's just so
like,
true.
Eventually, it'll get brought back to the middle.
Yeah.
Like, you could be killing it. You could be playing State of Origin, be the best player ever.
Yeah.
You can still get dropped, like you get brought back to the middle.
Absolutely.
And like this is the worst thing that had ever happened to me. I was like, I don't know how I'm ever going to show my face again.
Yeah.
Time passes by, you start the next season.
Yeah.
Footy's footy, and like brings you back to the middle a bit. Like, it hammers me a bit still when people bring it up. Like, I can have a joke around in that with the boys, but when someone random like tries to get under my skin and they say it, I always just say that saying. I'm like, oh. Yeah, it's not as bad as it seems. Like, something's going to bring it back to the middle. You'll be right.
Absolutely. It's so true. And Bo's a very good example of that. Like, he's been through his own stuff. Did you feel like, you know, if if you could, obviously the silver lining is you grew as a person. I assume. What about your relationship with the media? How did that kind of change? Did it change at all, or were you just like,
heaps. Yeah, like the first few times they come, I just absolutely gave them nothing. I was ready to. I say I'd never do another interview again, sort of thing. And then the Bulldogs like, well, you have to. It's requirements. Blah blah. Few of the people were really good. I had a blue with someone at Belmore. Come to do an interview with me the week after they were out the front of the courthouse yelling at me, saying I'm an embarrassment. And rocked up to do this interview. And I was like, oh, don't worry, I remember you. Like, I know who you are. And so but for me, I was like, I shouldn't have done that either. Like, just like be the bigger person, sit there and just give him nothing. Like, say yes, say no, finish the interview, get out of there.
It makes me mad though, because like you're so dehumanized to him. He genuinely has the audacity to do that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like he knows what he did.
It was the worst day of my life. I just walked out of the courthouse.
And you're yelling, you're an embarrassment of footy.
And then he rocks up to ask me the next week, how's the team shaping up for 2019?
Oh, mate, that like just shows you how far they feel they can go.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine, like, take out the job thing, take out the fact that he's a journo and you're a footy player.
Yep.
And you were walking out of a court case. I'm like, bro, you're a fucking embarrassment. And then the next week I rock up to you and I was like, hey, can you help me with this job that I have right now?
Yeah.
No one would ever do that.
No way.
But because of the dynamic of like, you're just a fucking footy player.
Yeah. I'm untouchable.
Yeah.
I can say whatever I want.
Say whatever I want.
You can't touch me. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I guess you've slowly worn to it and guess you understand how to handle things now, I assume?
Yeah. And like I've come across a lot of people that are really good journos too.
There are really good journos.
So it sort of showed me as well. It's the same thing. Like, it's never as bad as it seems, never as good as it seems. Like there's some good ones out there, there's some bad ones.
Yeah.
And it's just to like never feel like you can get too comfortable with anyone either.
Yeah, that's true. That's fucking so true. Especially like that when you understand where they're coming from in the sense that like they have a job to do.
Yeah.
And their whole setup is to get as many clicks as possible.
Exactly. Be calculated with your responses when you need to be.
So do you feel like, with the whole Dylan thing, like the Napa thing, if there is a silver lining, it would be the fact that you could, when he was
months apart, and
so
like we'd never really met, but we'd had a few mutual friends and like clashed in a couple of games together and like tried to rip each other's heads off, and then rocked up on day one of pre-season and straight away started talking about our mates that we knew, blokes I went to school with, that his cousin's best friends with, and just funny things like that. And then I think it was 4 days later, all this stuff coming out.
Yep.
And I barely knew him, but it was like I needed people in my house when my shit went down. Like I was struggling.
Yeah, 100%.
I was like, I'm coming around for dinner. Let's catch up. Let's do this.
Yeah. Even if he's not asking you, you just
do it.
there.
You just go.
Yeah.
And and I told him that saying, and he's like, and then I actually caught up in the off season. I caught up with one of his mates, him and one of his mates for dinner, and his mate had just come back from Japan and had like a similar sort of thing happen with him. He was playing rugby over there, and Dylan passed the saying on to him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
that's crazy.
For me, it was like, oh, so I did help him a bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did help him a bit.
The big boy.
Yeah.
No, I love the way he plays. Like, I love the fact that there's still forwards in the game that just go out to rip someone's head off.
I love the way he trains, bro. Just seen him today. Just launching blokes.
Oh, does he just love it?
Just loves it, yeah. I get a message at night. It's just like, I can't wait for training tomorrow.
Oh, really? From Naps?
Yeah.
I've never messaged anyone that in my life.
Nah,
I message, bro, fucking fitness tomorrow. Fuck.
Got to be there at 7.
I message.
It's 34 degrees tomorrow. yeah.
It's contact tomorrow. Fuck me dead.
I know. He's one of the ones that's just like, we just do contact every day.
Fuck, let's do it. Yeah. Crazy eyes. No, that's good. I guess, like, at the end of the day, the journo that did carry on and the journos that did carry on, I don't always say, but the way I see it is like, when you Google a journo's name or a critic's name, the people he critiques comes up.
You're right. Yeah.
That says a lot about the situation right now.
Yeah.
And so, like, the critique is never remembered.
Yeah,
it's
spot on.
The person that is being critiqued that is remembered. You type in any journo's name and it's the people he's attached to that come up.
Mate, that's funny. Yeah, that's sort of something that I said to my parents as well. Like when they were sort of struggling, it's like, I'm not saying I'm anybody, but I'm like, if you don't play NRL, like people don't even want to talk about you like that. So I'm like,
you're not even someone to talk about.
Look, this is shit. It's not a good thing, but
fuck,
Joe Blow's not getting spoken about. So, like,
Absolutely.
at least I know they've done something good along the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Just got to get past this now.
Yeah, absolutely. And if it all ends tomorrow, like, at least I fucking got to the point where I was worth being talked
Having
about.
a chat about, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so 2019, and you said it was surprising 2019. I guess, like, it's a different, like, it's more of a personal struggle than 2018. But 2019, it's that, like, painful team struggle. You know, that painful team struggle that you have, and, like, everyone's heads
They're the
off.
ones where it's hard to turn up the training and, like, be up all the time.
Exactly. Whereas, like, personal one, you can be like, stop being a cat, just fucking pull your head in and
or
have
one
a
of the
crap.
boys picks you up.
Yeah, yeah.
When all the boys are down, there's no one to pick you up.
Absolutely. And everyone's looking around going, like, what's going on? And they're starting to finger point. I'm not saying that happened there, but I'm just saying, like, you know.
In general,
everyone's like, where's the problem? You know, fuck, let's find it.
Yep.
What was that like, you know?
Yeah, it was hard. I think, like, we did finish the season good in 2018 as well.
Yeah.
But we'd lost, like, James Graham, lost Woodsy, Moses, lost all these players. So during the year, but then finished the year right, and it was like, oh, we knew that 2018 we were going to have heaps of player movement.
Yep.
So it was like sort of that lowered the expectations a little bit. But the team that we started pre-season with lead into last season was going to be the team the whole year. So that's why it was a shock, because it was like, no, we're going to build a season together.
Yep.
And yeah, it was just so hard some days. Like, you'd say the effort that the boys were putting in and how hard we were training. And it just comes back to what we were speaking about before. Like, it was just a lack of experience. Like, if you could have 13 Josh Jacksons in your team, you would, because you know they're going to rock up and do the exact same thing every single day and put in. But, like, there's kids that are in so many different levels of their career that it was just so hard for us to know how to pick each other up as well.
Yeah. And also, for people that are listening, like, you go, okay, 13 Josh Jacksons rock up, and you know what you're going to get. Why is that so important? It's so important because you can build things around that.
Spot on, yeah.
Whereas if you've got kids where you don't know, is he going to have 3 line breaks and fucking 2 tries, or is he going to have 2 drop balls and do nothing all day?
Yeah.
So how do you build around that? How do you protect the deficient? Like, for example, you look at Josh Jackson. Like, okay, he's not going to fucking have 5 line breaks and 6 tries, but he is going to tackle his ring out, so we can build something around that.
Spot on.
And protect our deficiencies, which may be attack or something like that, whatever it is.
Yep.
Whereas, like, when you don't know, you don't fucking know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
You're changing it every week, which is what we were doing.
Yep.
We were changing our focus every week because we didn't know where the leak was going to be. Like, one game the Roosters scored 4 down our left side, and the next week this next team scored 3 down the right side, and we lost by 2 points. It's like, fuck, where do you need to fix things?
Yeah, where's the issue here? Yeah.
And like, I've seen in, like, even people like Nick Meaney and that, the first couple of days, first week back at training, the way they're walking around, like, I think they feel like they're first graders in that now, which are taking confidence out of so far. I hope that, you know, they rock up and they've grown from last season, which I think they have. Like, blokes like Jaden Ockenbaugh, Means, and those lads, that it's like they've finally had a season under their belt now.
Yeah, fuck. Ockenbaugh and even Meaney, like, both of them fucking good players, man.
Great players.
Like, great players. And then obviously got Watani Zalesniak. He's been
massive for us.
Yeah,
like,
such an
injection. If you want to point the finger at a thing that changes season, it's when Dale come.
Yeah, he was fucking real good. So energetic, strong, fast. You know what I mean?
That's why he carries the footy. Like, everyone else started carrying it like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so, you know, if the next 12 months are perfect for you, what are you doing? Where are you? You know, what's happened in the last 12 months?
I'd be like, you know, we finish in the top 4, we finish in the top 8. We're really competitive all season.
Yep.
And play a finals series. Like, I want to go deep into a final series and have that buzz of games coming up, and like, and then, like, on a personal level, it'd be like, I finish the season all right. Well, I'm going to start the season better than that. And I just want to be in the conversation about, like, a rep jersey.
Yep.
I'd love for that. Like, it's been a dream of mine my whole life growing up. Like we were talking about before, playing with blokes like Birdie and, you know, Mitch Moses, whose name's getting thrown about all the time, and those sort of lads when we're coming through. It's like, I'm seeing them now. Like, I want that for myself. Yeah. So,
and Gutho was 18th man.
Gutho,
so you like Gutho, because that's the thing. Like, you know, you've experienced rep footy with those guys, so it's like you got a taste of being a part of that kind of thing.
Yeah, being a part of those, like, even just the camp and everything around it. Like, you always come back a better player from those sort of things. And, like, mate, to wear the Blues jersey for me, it's just the best thing ever. Like,
yeah. Fucking oath. I can actually see you in a blue jersey, just quietly, even though I'm a Queenslander. So What about Kieran Foran? Watching, poorest guy in the world in the sense of, like, injuries, fuck me dead. Has that been something where you've actually taken a lot in the sense you've seen his professionalism, even constant injuries and that?
Mate, the amount of respect. Like, me and Foz are super tight, really good mates. But then I also, I take a step back and just admire him. Like, we have conversations some days and he's like, this is a tough day. Like, I'm struggling. But fuck it, I've got to get it done. Like last year when he was doing his rehab and that, and like the bloke spent so much time in a gym doing rehab. Like, you'd think he'd just be sick of it, but he just knows, like, nah, if I don't do this today, it's going to be harder tomorrow.
Yeah.
And like the way that he comes back from his injuries and that, like, you can't help but know that he's a beast. Like, he trains as a beast, rehabs as a beast.
Yeah.
And like, he put a post up on Instagram yesterday, and like, it was great to see him. He put a post up talking about his rehab and that. And for me, it's like, sweet. Foz is already talking about his journey on the way back. How good's this?
Yeah.
Can't wait to watch it unfold. Can't wait for him to be back out there.
Because he's still only 29.
29, like,
Yeah.
halves start playing their best footy when they're like that age,
exactly.
late 20s. And
late 20s is what they, 100%.
look at Cooper Cronk. Just finished.
Like,
He's
dude,
like,
he's like 400 years old to win a premiership.
and like, no disrespect to him. Like, Foz is as good as him. He's done it, been there, done that. One comps, played for his country.
Yeah.
Like, he's
People
that
got short
mold of a
memories in
player,
footy.
man. They're very short memories.
He's
Some of the things that he's done on a footy field, like, you look at him and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
He's the best player in the game at the moment.
Yeah, there's definitely years where he's been that, and people have short memories. He also has incredibly good arms.
Yeah. Good pipes.
Got to get off the fucking bicep curl.
Yeah, the Warwick Farms.
Mate, the
Well, I
fucking
think,
pipes on
yeah,
it.
you look at rehab, there's not always the boys in there to give you a bit. We just do have a little pump. So I've never caught him, but it's probably because he's smart with it.
He reckons he's never done bicep curls?
Yeah,
Come
I
on,
don't know about
bro.
that,
He's
bro.
on that bicep.
I don't know about that.
He
yeah.
must have come in early. You know what? He comes in before everyone. He just gets a quick fucking pump
He's
out.
there early. Yeah, he comes from North Sydney, so
Chin-ups.
he's there early.
He hides it in close grip chin-ups. That's where he does his curls.
Yeah, everyone's thinking like, oh, he's got the wide grips going.
Yeah, nah.
Palms in
hiding,
tight.
fully locked out. Just pumping them.
Yeah.
He's someone that, like, he's a perfect example of, like, how short people's memories are. Like, yes, he has had an injury run. Yes, he's had his issues, but, like, he's 29 years old.
Yeah. So that's like the last 3 or 4 years. What about the 3 or 4 years before that?
Yeah,
It was like
incredible.
any team would have dropped their best player to get Foz in there.
Absolutely. It's and also there's so much that's happened in Foz's life that a lot of people don't know about.
Exactly, yeah.
And so, you know,
Yeah, to see like how strong, like mentally strong he is, and like how good of a place his life is, like right with his wife and that right now, and his kids. Like, you just think, fuck, this bloke's been through hell. Like, he's an example that you can always get through the other side.
Absolutely. Best player you've ever played with where you've just been like, mate, this guy is a gun.
It's Foz.
Foz,
Is.
really?
Yeah. And like, I know I haven't had the chance to do it too much, but it's just like that class. It's a step above.
Yeah.
And like, even just at training, like, because leading into 2018, that was his first year with us, and he rocked up in great shape. Like, injuries and that was sweet, and it was just like no one could go near him. No one could keep up with him, fitness wise, strength wise, and then just the balls and that he was throwing.
Yep.
Yeah, for me, like, I hadn't really ever played with a half that was like at that crazy
elite level.
Yeah,
Like,
there's always younger sort of halves that were
Yep.
that had the chance to maybe get to that stage of their career, but he was there.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is such a difference, and there's like a kind of a confidence when you go on the field with a guy like that.
Yeah.
That he's going to lead, take care of everything.
Yeah, exactly. The way that they speak to you and that.
Yeah. And I ask all the boys, his favourite rapper of all time.
ASAP Rocky.
ASAP of all time.
Big fan, yeah.
Fucking
Love
hell.
him.
Fashion killer, eh?
I could, yeah. Purple Kisses.
Fucking hell.
Wild
mate.
for the Night. I could have it on repeat.
Mate,
I'm a sucker for C Breezy too. I know he's not sort of straight rap, but
Yeah. He has got a. I mean, he's hip hop ish.
he's got a good bedroom remix.
He's
He's got
yeah.
he's got a good playlist. So bedroom
Mate,
playlist.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I got a missus, so I don't know what you're talking about. But G-ups. So the thing with Breezy is, I honestly think if he didn't do all the stupid shit he's done out of singing and that, he would be like a modern day Michael Jackson.
100%. Yeah, the
Like,
way he dances and that.
Sings and everything.
Iconic. Yeah.
But the problem is all the shit he's done outside of the thing that he's not mainstream as much anymore because of all of that
spot
shit.
on.
He can't be seen as this superstar because of his past.
Bad image. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, see Breezy, R&B wise, you can't really get much
Who are you
better
looking
than
at?
Best rapper of all time? Eminem. It's without
Yeah,
a doubt.
okay, that's fair.
He's
I'll
a
cop
goat.
that on the chin any day.
I
Yeah.
mean, easy. Like, goat. I went to his concert. I actually went to, this is years and years ago, and I didn't appreciate it at the time because they weren't as big then. They were coming up.
Yeah.
Opening act was J. Cole.
Nah.
Second act was Kendrick, and then it was Eminem.
Nah.
Yes, at Rapture in ANZ Stadium.
Stop it.
I mean, you're never going to get that again.
Nah, that's the only time they're going to play
J.
together.
J. Cole opening for Kendrick.
Yeah, that's
Kendrick
crazy.
opening for Eminem. And it was just Crooked Smiles plays fucking so good. I went to Eminem recently. I go every time he comes, I go.
You go, yeah. So he's that one for
Locked
you.
in. Like, I love that cunt.
That's Post Malone for me. I couldn't
went
really
to Posty
say
as
Posty.
well.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
He's a rapper, I guess. But
I mean, hip hop.
he's
hip
my
hop.
fave. Yeah,
Mate. Yeah,
I got him hanging up in my car.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's a gun. You know what I love? I say to my missus all the time. I say he's a modern day rock star in the sense that like he's tatted up in that, but he's actually a nerd.
Yeah, full nerd.
Full nerd, but
Loves music. Like can play all these instruments.
Yep.
Yeah.
Internet though, he's got the internet thing sorted. Like loves all that.
Loves
shit.
gaming and that. Yeah.
And I just reckon he's like the modern day rock star.
Yeah, even the way he speaks, like he's got a lisp, a weird sort of lisp in that. He's
Really
a bit
weird and different. Whereas I feel
quirky.
like if you took like AC/DC or some rock star from the past and you try to insert them into today's culture, I don't think they would go as well.
too hard.
It's too rough and rugged.
People
Whereas
turn their nose at it.
yeah, whereas like you need it to be a bit softer now with this generation. It's
Yeah,
not
you
softer
do.
in a negative way, but just like he's just a bit more
just to be molded to everyone's taste.
Yeah.
And he's got songs that do that. Yeah,
mate.
that's why I love him.
His last, I did like Hollywood Bleeding. I thought it was a good CD, but his last CD, Beer Bong with Bentley.
Beer Bong's Bentley,
That's a classic to me.
yeah, yeah.
I honestly reckon that's a classic.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Like that was easily the album of the year.
And then even the one before it, like the one where White Iverson, the first song that he
White
dropped, like
Iverson, and then
that's a
Congratulations.
jam, bro. Yeah, I Fall Apart.
I fall apart, bro. When I first heard that, it hit me right in the feels, bro.
Yeah,
I was like, what
man.
is he doing
I
right
know.
now? Fuck me dead. I
know.
smacked it too much now, so I'm emotionally numb to it now.
Yeah.
Favorite movie of all time?
Remember the Titans.
Great movie.
Yeah, that's hard.
You know what's great? It's like so I had Michael Cheekham on. He said Training Day, and like
Yeah.
I swear Denzel Washington is a common theme.
He'd
throughout.
have to be. Yeah,
He's the greatest actor of all time.
yeah, unbelievable. He's a freak.
Like he's got to be the greatest actor. Like him, Michael Bale, Batman. Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Yeah, fucking hell. I can't believe I got that wrong.
Will Smith's got to be in the conversation too. Like
You
how many
reckon?
good movies he. Yeah, I think he's a freak.
fuck,
I love
dude.
Fresh Prince of Bel Air too. But
Yeah,
like,
see, I
it's
didn't
a
grow up with
series.
that. I didn't grow up with that.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't have that kind of nostalgia.
Men in Black, Bad Boys.
Yeah, fuck. See,
Yeah, people with their movie taste so
yeah,
different.
so
eh?
different. But Denzel, I'm on the train.
Yeah,
I'm on the Denzel train.
Absolutely love Denzel.
Bandwagon all day. Biggest pest you've ever played with?
Carrot Holland.
Just a pest.
Oh, mate, today. Could have knocked him out 3 times today. Just a pain in the ass. Like, I'll be sitting there stretching.
Yeah.
And like, because he's in rehab at the moment,
Yeah.
he might come over. He's running on the field and that, but he can't do the contact, so he might come in and do extra cardio or whatever. And like, he'll hide because he knows where I'm going to sit and stretch, and then comes and screams in my ears as loud as he can and scares the shit out of me. And just like steals your keys.
Worst kind of pest. going.
Undoes Jack, like,
Oh.
it's always me and Jacko, so he just picks me or Josh Jackson.
Yep.
Takes your laces out of your shoes.
Oh, fuck. It's torture.
Mate, yeah.
Torture? Do you reckon one day
Absolutely.
you're just going to put it on his chin?
I've already, I said it to him in the car this time, actually. He said it to me before too.
Really?
Because I'll get that way with him as well.
Okay, so you get it.
And he said to me, yeah, but not like on the daily like he is.
Yeah, okay.
It's like I'll let it build up until I'm at
Breaking
clicking point, and then I'll do something horrible to him.
Trying to end the war.
Yeah,
rather
exactly.
than the
Yeah,
battle.
thinking like, yeah. And
Just on the
then
wall.
he said to me, I will put one on your chin. And then I said it to him in the car this time, and he goes, all right, we're even. We both said it to each other now.
I'll put one on your chin. What's funny is like, you can only really say that to your close mates.
You can't say it to anyone
Yeah, you
else.
can't just say it to like a random like
Nah.
that you're not really that close with.
Well, you'll end up with black or
Yeah,
white.
you'll
they'll
actually get
just
what-
throw first. Yeah, you're
100%,
right.
100%. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, brother. I appreciate it. I hope the doggies do well this year because, like, you know, you got such a rich history, and also like, it's like, don't get me wrong, I love the fact the Roosters won and Storm and that, but like with for example Raiders making the finals, like it's just good for footy. You need those other.
Well, it's a power club sort of that's fallen back a bit and it's come back to the forefront
and
again.
you just got to mix that top 4 up to keep things interesting for fans. You know, like Roosters might fucking.
I agree, man. I was on the Raiders bandwagon this year just
Yep.
for the sake that they hadn't done it for so long.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, thanks so much for coming on, brother. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, brother. Thank you.
Boom.
Just a bloke in a bar.